the House of Mouse, one of the biggest media slash entertainment conglomerates in this world's history, Disney. Some of the funnest adventures to some of the most heartbreaking tales. One thing is for sure, we have always been entertained. So put on your Mickey ears and get ready as we break down our top 10 Disney movies of all time. This is a Comic Talkers production, and you are listening to Just for Flix. Oh boy! What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Patty B. As always, with me today is my co-host, my main man, my co
I can't believe you
my
just.
co-captain, Mr. B-Dog, Mr. Brandon. What's going on, man? How you
I don't
doing
know.
today?
You screwed up on my co-host, man. I don't know if I can ever forget that, but no, I'm doing
Ever.
great. I'm ready to do some Disney films. This is where we're getting into the nitty gritty of Disney and this monopoly that we know and love today. But I am so even more glad that we have a guest with us today,
Most
and
definitely.
and she has been a part of Comic Talkers since the beginning. Um, Comic Talkers has been wouldn't have even started without her on this team. I am glad to re-enter somebody from that's a good friend of mine and bring her back into the podcast. Please welcome for the first time on Cinemaniacs, Ciara. Ciara, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. We're excited. How are you? Are you excited to get back on the mic? Are
I'm
you
good. It's weird, but you know.
so so let me ask this. How hard was it for you to create a top 10 list for Disney films? Because I know you
Um, yeah. I as soon as I heard Disney, I was like, yeah, I have to. But then I was like, oh, I actually have to make a list. This sucks.
And then it gets hard. Like once you
It
think about
does.
it, you're like, oh wow, this is actually more challenging than I thought it was going to be.
So
see,
I was
see,
like, oh, this isn't going to be hard at all. I love Disney. Oh man.
Yeah.
Never mind.
and then you're
Yeah.
like, oh crap, here's Hunchback of Notre Dame. Where am I placing this? Oh, there's Elementals. I don't know what to do with this. Just um, I don't know why this list was 10 times easier than most other lists I usually do. I
Same.
kind of knew roughly what movies were going to be on my list. I just didn't know how to rank them. And then it just once I got the first two, three done, I was like, I know how to rank the rest of them. At that point, I was like, yeah, this is fine. I'm fine with it. I know, Pat, you even mentioned to us you have more live action than you have animated on.
I do. I am not a animated or cartoon kind of guy. Just not my thing. Never been that way. When I was a kid, I always liked more of the live action movies myself. So I stuck to what I know. Um, with that being said, though, there are a few exceptions on my list.
All
So
right. Sounds like a deal. So let's get right into it. Sierra's going to start us off, and it's going to be me and Pat. Remember, fans, these are our personal lists. This is not an overall list. So please let us know in those comments what your top 10 Disney movies are of all time. We'd like to hear your feedback. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start with Sierra. Sierra, what is your number 10?
My number 10, I'm sad to say, is Pinocchio.
Why?
Not the live action. I'm talking about the cartoon.
Okay.
That scared me as a child. I'm sorry, but
But why do you
mm,
like it, though? Let me ask you this. Like, what is scary, but you like it?
it I liked it for what it was about a puppet coming to life. Like, yeah, that was kind of scary, but it was kind of cool. It gave me like a mm, I don't know how to say it, but I don't know. There's just something about a little wooden puppet coming to life. But I liked the story behind it because the old man was lonely. He wanted a son, but he couldn't have one. So he was granted to have I guess you could say, a son.
So, I know you said about the live action you were not a fan of it. Uh,
No,
you didn't like Tom Hanks, though, as Geppetto.
I,
I
I
did.
did. I did just for that fact. That was the only reason why I liked that movie. Other than that, I'm not saying I didn't like it, so no one come for me. But
Don't.
it was just one of those things where I like the original. I like the cartoon.
Did you? I have to ask you. Have you watched the Guillermo del Toro's version of Pinocchio?
No, I did not. I did see the
sounds
cartoon, or not the cartoon. I saw the trailer for that and I was interested, but I was like, I can't watch another Pinocchio remake. I'm
It,
sorry.
it's worth it, and I will give props there because I am a Guillermo del Toro fan. He did Hellboy for crying out loud. It's one of my favorite movies, but he also did Shape of Water, which was amazing. So
was.
having that, it's just like he's just a great director. It's not the best, but it's not as bad as the Disney Plus crap that we got. And I'm sorry that tanked Tom Hanks' career a little bit because of him
I
playing.
know.
Just go back to being the man in Polar Express and we'll be fine. Just get him the Polar Express 2 and we'll be fine. I'd be all right. But I'll go ahead and jump to my number 10 because this movie bombed in the box office when it came out. It's a 2002 film, and it is Treasure Planet.
Oh,
I love this film. It is a great film. This movie bombed. And when I mean bombed, it severely bombed in the box office. It was not a very good story. If anybody does not know, pretty much think of Star Wars in space. Of course, Star Wars is in space, but think of mixed with Treasure Island. That's pretty much what this story is. And
I was gonna say mixed with a little bit of Peter Pan.
I wouldn't put that. I don't ruin my movies, man. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jim Hawkins. It actually has Emma Thompson in this film as Captain Amelia, but it has Martin Short as Ben, the robot that they find on the planet. I enjoy this film because it is really him finding his way. And there's a line that I really love in the movie when Jim's actually out, kind of just trying to cool down, find who he is. And what was it? It's been a while since I've watched it, but the main kind of like his main person that kind of takes him under his wing brings up a good point, and I always love this quote. You got the makings of greatness in you, but you got to take the helm and chart your own course. And that is pretty much the sense of the movie. It is Jim trying to find who he truly is. It has one of my favorite songs, I'm Still Here, who's actually sang by the main singer from the Goo Goo Dolls. Nobody remembers that song. I enjoy that song. It is a very heartfelt song. It's him finding who he is, trying to learn what it means to be on a ship like this, actually going into the world a little bit more. It's such a great story. I recommend this to anybody.
My number 10 was actually a last minute switch up. Bum, bum, bum. Someone got the boot out of this list.
Dun dun.
My number 10 is The Jungle Book from 1967.
The cartoon.
That's saying a lot for me too, because I'm not a big animated guy. Although I've always been kind of a fan of this. I like the animation in it just because it's that old school, very like legit cartoony feel to it, I guess you'd say.
They give you like a homey feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's just not I just like how there's a lot of parts in that movie too where I think over time they've actually recreated certain images, right? Like the same images from that movie have been used in other cartoons as well.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like Robin Hood. You see scenes from Snow White they redo in Robin Hood.
Yes.
That whole dance scene where they're all getting married and stuff. That's
the bears are dancing and stuff. Yeah.
It's exactly, and you see that too with the Jungle Book. I can't remember exactly. I think there was some from the Aristocats that actually got that scene. But I see your point because I'm going to actually admit right now I'll join you on this conversation because that is my number 5.
Ooh.
Got higher on my list. How can you not love Baloo? Baloo is the reason I love this film.
Probably one of the better Disney characters of all time.
Yeah, I just love. How can you not like Bare Necessities is by far one of the best songs in Disney history.
Absolutely.
One of the best songs, and the Bagheera sitting on the, oh no, he's with Baloo. It's fun. You get the vultures that are supposed to represent the Beatles.
The Beatles, who should have been played by the Beatles, but wasn't.
I think they were supposed to, and then there was a scheduling conflict, and then that got somebody else to play them. Shere Khan, by far one of the best Disney villains we have ever got. He is very intimidating.
Yep. No, that's one of the things that I've always loved about this movie, just the story in general. Like how it's this boy who was raised by the wild, and now this bear is supposed to lead its way to the man cubs. So
Yeah,
I think it's like it's one of the more legendary, I think, Disney movies, in my opinion.
right. I agree
So
with you. So, Sierra, let's turn it back over to you. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Dumbo.
Tell us why you love Dumbo.
I love Dumbo for the fact that it's a poor elephant that doesn't fit in, but he tries his best. And everyone ends up loving him because he ends up finding his true self.
Was it? Do you have any like fond memories with Dumbo, like as a kid you watched, or is it more nowadays that you watch and you feel that way more?
I feel that more. I mean, I felt it as a kid, but now watching it with my kids, it's kind of like more.
Um, I'm gonna keep my awkward train going with movies that people forget is Disney. My number 9 is going to a 2012 film. I'm going with Wreck-It Ralph as my number 9. I
wait. Wreck-It Ralph as your number 9.
Wreck-It Ralph is my number 9.
Oh man.
I love Wreck-It Ralph. I love John C. Riley as Wreck-It Ralph. You know, his character alone is so you can get invested with his character.
Mm-hmm.
The character that everybody wants to inspire to be is to be something more than what they were made to be. And that is Ralph. Ralph doesn't want to be the villain. He
No.
wants he is a good guy. He
Yeah.
wants to care. And still, some of my favorite scenes always come out of my mind is when they do the villain anonymous meeting. That made me laugh so hard seeing all these villains you know and love from video games. Like Blinky from Pac-Man, you see Street Fighter villains, you see all these guys, and they're all saying like, I want to be a good guy, and then they all go freak out. You're not thinking about going turbo, are you? You know, it's just fun. And let's talk about Turbo because Turbo is actually player King Candy is his other name. It's
Mhm.
played by Alan Tudyk, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of actors in this film. John C. Riley, Jack McBayer is Felix, Shane
Yeah.
Lake, Calhoun, Sarah Silverman is Penelope. You
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's a
know,
solid cast for sure. I mean, solid cast, and like you were saying too, the story itself, like they got really creative on this kind of story because it's like it never been done before.
right.
Like with incorporating the life of a video game, like, and it's so cool because it's like you got to see like all these kind of different video games.
But it's one of those movies that you can just love. And I love his whole quote when he's about to sacrifice himself at the end of the movie. You
Hmm.
know, I'm a bad guy, but that does not mean I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, no, yeah,
And it is such a true story that, because I'm a bad guy doesn't mean I can't be a good person.
yes.
And I love that. And
Mhm.
it's such a great, I remember watching this and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And I watched it and I fell in love with it.
I
So,
don't mean to sound late to the party, but yeah, this was my number 8.
okay.
When
So,
you said number 9, I was quite like, oh wow, like what are the odds? Because me and you especially with a topic like this, me and you very rarely have the same movie really close in our top, especially when it's something like this where it could be any movie.
yeah.
So that's why I was a little shocked. But yeah, no, Wreck-It Ralph was great. Like I said, the creativity of this movie and the way they did it, it was just chef's kiss. So
All righty. So we do have your number 9 still, Pat.
yes,
So
my
what is
number 9 is going to be this. Other than Wreck-It Ralph, like is going to be my number 8. This is my only other animated movie. No, take that back. Take that back. Anyway, from
Take it
19
back.
from
Nice.
ni- from 1997, I'm going with Hercules as my number 9.
I'll stay quiet.
Yeah, I know you don't like that movie. Um,
How dare you, good sir? Like, I like that movie. I'm not going to tell you where I placed it.
oh, okay,
Uh,
okay. No, it's one of those things where it's the animation for me, like all the scenes like in the sky, like the city in the sky and all that kind of stuff is pretty cool. I love Danny DeVito's character.
That's what I was about to say. I know you love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love Danny
You gotta
DeVito's
put
character.
Phil in there.
I love the songs. The one I love the "Bless My Soul, Herc was on a roll, Herc was on a roll." I love that. It
You
gets me
should
hyped.
always go on
Dude.
American Idol, and you'd be like the next shebang guy. You'd be sitting there like, "Oh, my soul," and be like, "No, get out of here!" Like nobody wants you.
James Woods as Hades. I
My
think that's what we got to talk about because man, his voice is iconic. I love James Woods. He's an amazing actor. He's in a bunch of good movies.
speaks volumes, and I'll come to talk about this later on too.
Mhm.
Speaks volumes when he comes back and reprises his roles for Hades in any game or any movie or show that involves Hades.
He is Hades.
Yeah, like he will always like he's in Kingdom Heart games as Hades.
That's
Um,
awesome.
he is in the Hercules show they did. He is Hades.
That's awesome.
Anything with Hades, he has always been Hades. That is his role and will never be beat at this point. Nobody could ever replace James Woods.
Mhm. Isn't it kind of fascinating how Hercules was done in 1997, right? James Woods is in it. Not long before Hercules, James Woods was in Casino. So
Yeah.
it's like the range. Like, man, you go from Casino to Hercules? Like, come on. Rip Torn also playing Zeus. Rest in peace, Rip Torn.
Torn. I hated the whole
You
movie.
don't like Rip Torn?
Zeus could have kissed my ass in that movie. Like he was such an ass. Like, yo, son, you're doing great, but I'm not helping you. Like,
I love Rip Torn. I forget how good he was.
like I hate Rip Torn. I'm not a Rip Torn
You're
fan.
not a. You sound like you're not a Rip Torn fan, dude.
Oh,
I'm actually torn because of that. So you ripped
well,
my heart out. Well,
you
you left it out there for me. So
the dad pun. We know you're a dad, buddy.
my heart's ripped and torn from this. Um,
But all right, let's go to so Patrick. We already know your number 8. It's Wreck.
yes, sir. It's
Let's
Wreck Ralph.
Wreck Ralph. And then so now it is Ciara's turn to go over her number 8.
My number 8 has to be Tangled.
Ah, okay. So what makes you love Tangle?
I just love, me personally, I love Rapunzel, and I got excited when they did Tangled, and they didn't mess it up. I wish they kind of, I don't know, I wish they would have done more of a Grimm Brothers take to it, but it's okay. I still love it. I love the music, and I love the um what is it? The animation for it. And it's just, I don't know. It just gives it that feel.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a good movie. It didn't make my list. It was one that was hard to make it onto my list because I enjoyed the movie. I love Mandy Moore in the film.
Hmm.
Mandy Moore is amazing. With Zachary Levi along with
Yeah.
Shazam himself. Like, but it just missed my list. It was just a movie that it just could not get on there for me. But it is an honorable on my list. It is something that it was close. But I'll go to my number 8. I'm gonna still step on the train that people forget about this movie. I'm going all the way back to 2003. I'm going with a movie. Let's see if you guys can guess it. This movie
Is it
stars
dinosaurs?
no.
Is
That
it
movie would never make my list.
dinosaurs? Yes.
The main actor in this film is Joaquin Phoenix.
Walk the line.
No,
A Disney creation.
no. It is Brother Bear.
Brother Bear.
Or rather,
Brother Bear. This is a fun story about 3 brothers. The oldest brother loses his life during a hunt, and what happens is that Kanan goes on a hunt to find this bear that killed his brother. Well, he doesn't realize this bear is a mom, and the spirit and his totem was actually a bear that was given to him. Well, when he killed the bear that killed his brother, he becomes a bear himself. And he friends a bear by the name of Coda, which we find out later on that Coda is the son of the bear that he killed. So now it's like this whole journey to try to find it really kind of shows him the real person he needs to be. And it's a fun story. It has really good music. This is another Phil Collins music one. So you get On My Way, There's No Way Out. They get, family time. This is where you get a lot of good hits still. Take a Look in My Eyes is one of my favorite songs of all time. Still is to
Can we
this.
just appreciate, I'm sorry, but can we appreciate Phil Collins? He went
Yeah.
so hard for those movies and he didn't need to, but
He
he
didn't
gave
need to
us
go that
the
hard at all.
childhood soundtrack.
And two, we got a great actress of a daughter that he has too, Lily Collins.
Hmm.
But the Tarzan soundtrack had no business being that good.
Well, hey, they teamed up with NSYNC, okay? So we are not going to go down that way. We're going to get to that movie later on too, because that's higher on my list. But Brother Bear is just a fun story that people tend to forget about, and I think it's a great movie for siblings to watch. I think it is a great story for people to watch and learn to try to finally see who you truly can be. And it really is him finding that the world that he knew is not technically the world he should be in. And when you get that decision at the end where he has the chance to either become human because he's learned his lesson or go back to being a bear, he chooses to go back to being a bear.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's that whole thing of now he has somebody to watch over, and that is Coda. And two, to have that responsibility. And then you come up with Brother Bear 2, it's like, oh yeah, the woman of his dreams becomes a bear too. Yeah, he loves it now. It was terrible. It was a terrible movie after that one. But Brother Bear is a very underrated movie. So I put it on my list.
I don't hear it get talked about a lot. I'll say that.
It's a movie that tends to be forgotten about.
And I personally, I've only I think seen that movie once, and it was a long time ago. But I know like what you were saying about Phil Collins going hard for this movie as well. I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just not too in tuned with the movie itself though.
Watch it with your son tonight, but
What's that?
Watch it with Noah.
Oh, I'm sure he'll love it. Yeah, I'll have to check it out with him. I know Mrs. Patty B is a huge fan of it, so
So let's jump to, because we already got your number 8, Pat.
yes.
At this point, we're going to turn it back over to Ciara to go over her number 7.
Perfect.
My number 7 is The Princess and the Frog.
It's another honorable on my list.
I love this movie. I would put it higher, but I have another higher movie. But I The Princess and the Frog, such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful movie. I don't know how much I can express this. The setting and the girl who makes her dream come true, literally, of owning this restaurant, and she will do anything. She doesn't ask for help, even though she has her best friend who she could get money from because they're best friends, but she wants to work and grind to get this herself. And I just love it. And my favorite is The Firefly.
I knew that was going to be, the Firefly was going to make your list. I knew one way or another. That's some of your favorites.
I love that Firefly.
I will give this movie props. This actually has one of my favorite songs in Disney history. And that is
Down by the Bayou.
It's the Almost There song that she sings when she's finally looking at this restaurant and what she wants it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a fun little jazzy tune that you don't usually hear from Disney. And it's a catchy little beat. It's like, I'm almost there. I can't sing a lot of it because of copyright. We love it.
Sing it.
Yeah. I'm singing it in my head right now and snapping my fingers. Anyway, it's just a nice little jazzy beat. And it's fun. But it was hard for me because when it came to Treasure Planet and Princess and the Frog, those were the two that went back and forth on my list. Like, do I put Princess and the Frog at number 10 or do I put Treasure Planet? And I went back and watched one I could watch more, and that's Treasure Planet. But now I'm gonna say this right now. This number 7, my number 7 picks does not make your guys' picks. I'm gonna be shocked. I'm gonna give you one hint for an actor, and if you guys don't know it by then, you're not gonna guess it right away. Michael J. Fox is the main character.
Oh, I know it. It's Atlantis.
It is Atlantis.
I remember this now. I remember your not obsession, but you definitely have a soft spot in your heart for this movie.
I love this movie. Like,
yeah.
I went and watched Aquaman. This will date this film. I went back went and watched Aquaman 2, The Lost
Mm.
King. And literally Black Manta ship, I literally went, that's a ship from Atlantis. Like you could just like the awkward glass like it has in the movie and the ships. And then it's like it looked like literally like a hammerhead shark. And I'm like, oh, they took inspiration from Atlantis. We got you, Warner Brothers. We know what you're doing. But Atlantis is just a fun story. Again, not a movie. Again, it was a movie that kind of tanked in the box office. It was not a very good movie. I remember going to watch it. I enjoyed it. My mom could not stand it.
Mhm.
It was a movie like, why would they even make something like this? And I just went, this is fascinating. Why would you not think of something like this for Disney? The animation style was different. It had a little twist that you never really see from Disney. The music by James Newton Howard, I enjoy the scores of this movie. It's great. It's that fun, little catchy, militaristic tunes that you want to hear. When you get the betrayal that all these guys were in it for their own reasons, I love the Doctor. Doctor makes me laugh all the time. Like, yeah, we got this. Oh no, don't sleep there. You don't want to know. And when I say
My favorite was Mole.
yeah, like if they did a live action casting, if Danny DeVito is not Mole, I swear to God, it's my crap. Like that is perfect Mole. But I enjoy this movie. It's a great adventure tale. It is a very twist and turn kind of movie that if you like those moments where there's a lot of twists and turns, I see myself in Milo a lot that I want to achieve goals, but sometimes those goals might be too much. But then you get people to help, like, hey, we're here to help. We're going to punch you. We're going to take you out and you're going to have fun. And you better come back with more information. And then you get the twist at the end where he stays in Atlantis. He chooses to stay. And the crew works. I'm like, oh yeah, he lost his life out there, kind of thing. It's just a fun tell. And I recommend this to anybody. I think it's a great story to tell. So yeah, we'll turn it over to Patty B for number 7.
My number 7 has always been a personal favorite of mine. I know a lot of people don't like it very much, but I I've never fell out of love with it. I've always loved the artistic capabilities of this movie and just what it's about. Uh, my number 7 is James and the Giant Peach.
I knew that was going to make your list somehow.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that stop motion animation.
You love Tim Burton too, because Tim Burton
yeah, he's a producer on this, and you can see that he's got his hands all over this movie.
Yeah.
But no, I just love how, it's about this kid who's obviously in a terrible home. His two aunts are absolutely awful people, and this guy comes. What are those things? Like the little green thingies? It's magic, right? Just goes into the peach, and then the peach grows. Also, I love peaches, the fruit, to this day, and this was one of those movies that like made me like gravitate. Like I don't know why, just like the giant peach, it just looks so delicious. Like why wouldn't you want to have a bite of that?
No comment.
It looks appealing. That's all I'm
just
saying. The peach looks
very...
appealing. Susan Sarandon is Mrs. Spider, which I think is pretty cool. Richard Dreyfuss is Mr. Centipede. This movie is definitely corny. I think that's why a lot of people don't like it much. Like the whole part where his parents get killed by a rhino. Like I never understood that part.
Disney.
Disney.
We're gonna kill him
We're gonna kill him off with this sky rhino we just came up with.
They played Jumanji and they died by a rhino. There we
Sky
go.
Rhino. Yeah.
But you got to think about this though. When I think of Tim Burton, this is not one of those movies I would think of 10 for him.
No, it's not. But I think for the time that it came out, I think it was a movie that was perfect for its time. I just like the movie because it's fun. It's only an hour and 20 minutes. And that's what I love about some of these movies, especially Disney movies. Like, they're short and sweet.
I see a watch along coming along.
Dude, telling you, man. Telling you.
Let's go to Ciara then for her number 6.
6. Number
My
10.
number 6 would probably have to be Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Not not the remake or the live action, the cartoon,
The old school one.
the old school. That
So,
one's my favorite.
what would you say? Who's your favorite character from it? Is it Gus Gus? Is it
Oh, Gus Gus,
Gus Gus?
100%.
Gus.
Gus Gus.
I don't know why I say it like that.
I know it's the evil cat. No, I'm just messing. But what made you really love this movie? What's your fondest memories with this movie?
I think it was maybe my second or third movie I actually saw as a child. And it was just like, well, where's my fairy godmother? Dang. But no, it was just
I want a pumpkin carriage.
right of how the pumpkin got turned into a carriage, how the mice got turned into the horses, how just the whole magical aspect of it. And it was just like, and then like her dress being like her tattered dress being turned into something beautiful. It was, I don't know, for me, it was just really magical.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It really is. This is one of my first Disney movies I watched because I had girl cousins live in the house. So of course, they wanted to watch that. Want to watch Disney Channel movies, and I just go, why? Like I want to
Hmm.
watch sports movies. I want to watch something like this, and then I watch Cinderella with them. Like, yeah, that ain't half bad. I could watch this because of Gus Gus. Yeah, that's my main guy. I'll
You
go.
guys want to do something really embarrassing?
What?
I've never watched Cinderella.
Oh, wow.
Get out.
I've seen parts. I've just never sat down and watched the whole. I mean,
This is coming from the guy that doesn't shock me that you've never watched Space Jam. Okay, so at this point,
sorry.
yeah, even Sierra's like, what? Like,
I'm sure there's movies I've seen that you haven't seen. So
yeah, maybe you showed me Bottle Rocket, but still.
yeah, dude.
But
Look
at
look at
least
that.
that's a
That's
movie that
one of your favorites.
nobody's ever heard of compared to not watching Space Jam and Cinderella.
I'm turning Brandon low key into a Wes Anderson fan.
We'll see.
He's slowly but surely getting there.
We'll see. But all right, I'm gonna go over my number 6. I'm gonna give you actors' names. I want to see if you can guess it. Alan Tudyk, Tamara Morrison, Ollie Carvalho, and the main man himself. You smell what The Rock is cooking?
The Rock says,
The Rock says.
"Know your role."
And what is his role, Pat, in this movie?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm trying to think that way. Is it? It's not the game plan, right? No.
No, but Ciara, do you want to take a guess?
Is it Race to Witch Mountain?
No, it is Moana.
Oh, make way!
Moana?
Make way!
Tamara Morrison is Chief Tui. If you don't know who Tamara Morrison is, you've never watched Aquaman, you've never watched Star Wars because he is Boba Fett, he is Jango Fett, and he is the Clone Troopers. He is, yeah, and Alan Tudyk is Hey Hey. He is the chicken in that movie. Yeah, but this is a movie. I love the music. I love the story, and it's a woman trying to find. You get a theme with my movie. They're movies about trying to find their way and trying to find what the world has for them or what is on that outside of that world. Moana is that. Moana wants to explore the world. She wants to be, somebody who can actually go and do something. One of my favorite songs is How Far I'll Go. It is a very, very sympathetic song. You understand her character at that point. Pat will get a love for this because every song written in that movie is Lin-Manuel Miranda's work. And if you guys don't know who that is, you guys have never heard of the play on Broadway, Hamilton.
Called Hamilton? Has anyone ever heard of this?
No, just messing. Anyway, I love his music. How Far I'll Go, You're Welcome.
Yeah, what can I say except you're welcome.
Anyway, but yeah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson really went far in this role. And this is by far, if I had to do Dwayne The Rock Johnson movies,
this is one of his best movies.
Oh, I put it at number 1, easily.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it tops Walking Tall, man. Walking Tall is pretty good.
Walking Tall would be 3 or 4 for me. It's not a movie that I think of for him. This is a movie now I look at him and go, This is you. And it's perfect for him. You know, it brings Maui is the Rock when you really look at it. Maui is that personification of what Rock was in WWE. That cocky son of a bitch that sits there and does, oh, I know everything. You're welcome. But and thank you. And he takes the ship. That's Maui. That is the Rock. It is perfect for him in this role. Ollie Cravalho, who plays Moana, what a lovely voice this woman has. She has musical chops to that T. I love this cast. It is fantastic to hear them and how they cooperate with each other, everything. It's just a fun story to hear and learn the culture. That's another thing I love about this film. It teaches you about the culture a little bit more than what you think.
Excuse me.
So Moana is just a movie for families. If guys haven't watched this, I recommend this. I believe won Best Animated Picture, but again, I could be wrong. I know they were nominated for sure.
I think they had probably a nomination for Best Original Score too, right?
They had Best Original Song, and that
Best Original Song. Okay,
they had How Far I'll Go.
got it.
Their Best Original.
Because no, this movie definitely had some bangers as far as music goes. My son loves this movie.
It does. It's songs even as adults we can sing to.
Yo, for sure.
How Far I'll Go is on my personal playlist. You're Welcome is on my personal playlist.
Lin-Manuel Miranda's really good at writing catchy music, man.
It will just look at Hamilton, even though it's supposed to be dialogue.
Yeah.
Catchy.
Are you Aaron Burr, sir?
Aaron Burr, sir?
Depends who's asking. I'm at your service, sir.
They were looking for you. You're immersed.
Okay, stop. We're gonna get too entangled.
So let's go to Patty B's number 6.
My number 6 is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies of all time.
I hope it is because it's in your
It's
top.
number 6. Yeah, obviously. Duh. Yeah. Anyway, no, this one is, I think, out of, because this is number 6. So the 5 that come after this one, I would say like this one, as far as rewatchability for me, is up there, but there's just too many good ones to put. But my number 6 is The Santa Claus from 1994.
I figured there was going to be a Christmas movie making this list somehow.
I am a huge fan of Tim Allen. I've always been a Tim Allen fan. I grew up watching Home Improvement as a kid. He's Buzz Lightyear, dude. Like this is pre Buzz Lightyear, but still, this movie has all the '90s comedy you could think. Like it's epitome. I mean, this is his prime. This is right in the middle of him shooting Home Improvement. I mean, 1994. It's like I think
this I would say is his first big movie that he had. Like he had other bangers beforehand, but
yeah,
this was like kind of one of them that made him more of a movie. Well, I take that back. Was this before Toy Story? Because
yeah.
Toy Story.
Yeah, it was. This was released in '94, and Toy Story is in '95, I think.
So yeah, so like this kind of put him on the map, and then Toy Story kind of just boosted his career.
Well, and then Home Improvement was pretty big when it came. Like once it got to like that show went 9 seasons, so this was within the middle of the show, fourth, fifth season is when this came out. But no, I love it. It's got a cool twist on the Santa story and how he becomes Santa. I think the franchise of this movie is great. I like the first 3. Did they do? I don't know if did they do 4? They did a show. I watched a little bit of the show. It's okay.
I did not like the show. I hated it.
I think I'm just too old now. Like
the only thing I liked is they brought Bernard back, but even then it's kind of like, well, why did you need to bring him back if you didn't have him in the third movie?
Dude, David Krumholtz, man, he's in some pretty good movies. Like he's got some range too. That's the guy that plays Bernard the Elf.
Yeah. Like what was it? You realize the guy who? Okay, so if we're talking about 2 and 3 too, the guy who plays Cupid. You know what other movie he's played in? It's
that's Kevin Pollak.
Yeah, yeah. You know what other big movie this guy's in, right? He's in a few good.
He's in The Usual Suspects.
Yeah, he's in The Usual Suspects, but I always remember him as kind of like the assistant to Tom Cruise.
Oh, okay.
I always think about him. I was like, that's not him. There is no way in hell that is him. But you want me to tell you the other funny part? So the dad who plays the dad in Everybody Loves Raymond. Realize he plays 2 roles in that series. He plays the boss of Tim Allen in the first one.
Oh yeah, he's Father Time. I didn't even think about that.
He's
How
Father.
did I never catch that?
And then the great big Bambino himself from Sandlot.
The Molinator.
You know, love it.
No, I love this man. Judge Reinhold too. Can we
Yeah.
Judge Reinhold, man? He's one of my favorites.
I love him in Beverly Hills Cops, bro.
Beverly Hills Cop, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He's great in that movie.
I kind of like him in this one because when you get to the second and third one, he kind of brings out his
character develops a little bit. Yeah.
For his character from Beverly Hills Cop, where he's the airhead. He's like Fru's Fraba. I'm like, this is an anger management. Shut up. Like, or I'm gonna go build a train in the third one. I'm like, oh my
god. He's good. He's a psychiatrist, right?
He's a psychiatrist because that's what Charlie keeps on telling me. Oh yeah, it's okay to lash out. Who the hell told you that?
There's a good line in the first one where Charlie's saying to Scott, he's like, yeah, well, Neil listens to me. He's like, yeah, he charges you for it afterwards. Dude, it's just like little witty lines like that, dude. It's just what makes Tim Allen so good, man.
I love the Disney scene when he goes, what was it? It's an American Institute. And then there's like a whole business market. And then they're like, yeah, we had a burnt turkey. And the waitress like, over here. And then like all the single dads. He laughs so hard in this.
He's like, can I get a chocolate milk? He's like, we're all out. Regular milk's fine.
Yeah. What about a classic eggnog? I don't like eggnog.
We're all out. Yeah.
But you realize in the original script too, it actually, even Tim Allen came out not too long ago. It was supposed to be him shooting Santa.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Thing I heard, he was like, "Yeah, I had a shotgun and we were gonna shoot Santa."
Disney execs were like, "No, man, we can't be doing that.
Not in a Disney movie." That's how you get canceled.
Well, this was in the '90s. They could get away with some things.
That dude.
They should have done it.
Yeah, right. This is like the perfect time to capitalize on something like that.
Honest, I gotta see Martin Short's character doing that in the third movie.
Oh man, I love Martin Short as Jack Frost, dude. He's good. I think
vintage chill. You know,
I think the third one is underrated, in my opinion.
I didn't like the third one as much. I like the second one the best.
I do too. I like the second with the clone claws. I like that one. Yeah.
I like the second, then I put the first, and then I put the third.
He's like, there's a clause. He's like, I know, I'm sent. And he's like, no, there's clause.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, you can't see that?
Yeah, let me get this. Spencer Breslin too, man. This is right. This was from the second one, but Spencer Breslin, it's like that was right in the prime of his childhood career.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I enjoyed this, but all right, we spent enough time on Christmas.
Oh.
We go to Ciara for number 5. I've already went over my number 5, which is Jungle Book, so we're gonna skip over me and go right to Pat after Ciara. Okay, so let's go to Ciara.
Lady and the Tramp.
What? So embarrassed with that. It's a good movie. Like
no, face, like, I wish it was up higher.
Your face was just like.
Why are you embarrassed for Lady and the Tramp? I think Lady and the Tramp's a good movie.
No, I'm not embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that it's not up higher. Like,
oh, got it.
Well, I can tell you, he's a tramp. That's why we love him. He's a tramp. That's why we love him. No, I'm just messing. I did it in 10 seconds, so they can't get me. But it's just a point. It's funny. But I got Ciara to laugh on that one. That one made me laugh pretty good. So what did you love about this movie?
This was my childhood movie. I had the VHS tape. I would watch this over and over until the thing broke. I loved this movie about dogs, and I loved the music. I loved the scenery of it. It was just a classic.
Oh, this is the
That's like my favorite scene.
I just love him. I just love how the guy just pulls out an accordion out of his kitchen, like,
Mhm.
we got this, I'm
Just
like,
out of nowhere. He just has everything so set up, and then it's just like, where'd you pull that accordion out of?
pulled it out of my ass. No.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Like I always have an accordion on the hip, dude. I'm ready.
Every cook has one. What are you talking about? No, but nah, that's what I said. You have that iconic scene with the noodle. That is where
Mhm.
you get a whole bunch of references to shows and stuff now that do that scene.
Yep. I love spaghetti because of that.
The one
Right?
song I
Right, right,
cannot
right.
stand in that movie is the Siamese Cat song. That
No, that is
was,
my favorite song.
I hated that song. That whenever I heard that song, I literally went underneath the covers. I hate that scene. I was scared out of my mind. Like, oh no, these cats are coming for me. Hide. So we'll turn over to Patty B for his number 5.
My number 5 is, I think, a deep cut for you guys. Well, Brandon knows this movie, but I don't. Sarah, you might know this movie. But this is one of my favorites. This is where the meat and potatoes really start to come out in my list, in my opinion. And I'm talking about none other. Speaking of heavy hitters, I got heavyweights at
I
my
knew
number
this was
5.
gonna
Oh
pull.
my god.
You
All
like
right.
Ben Stiller in roles like this. Come on now. I knew
Oh, dude, I'm always percusizing. All right, this is one of my favorite movies. This is a Judd Apatow movie. This is I wasn't directed by him, but the screenplay was by him, and you can definitely tell that Judd Apatow has his hands all over this thing. You have Alan Covert is in it, who is part of Adam Sandler's crew, who is the main character in Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
Also, the caddy in Happy Gilmore,
Yeah.
who finds out in the parking lot. But no, I think this is one of criminally underrated Ben Stiller's roles. Like, I know it's a '95 Disney movie about a fat camp. I get it, but Ben Stiller as Tony Perkis is one of the best Disney villains of all time.
Okay, so let
All
me
right,
ask you this.
don't at me, okay?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna ask you something. Do you like his character in that, or do you like it in Dodgeball? Because he pretty
Okay,
much
so it's a precursor to White Goodman. It is
yeah,
virtually the
that's what
same
I said.
character.
It's the same exact character. Pretty much.
Yeah, I prefer this character over White Goodman. There's Father Sky, Mother Earth, and your dear old Uncle Tony. All right, he said it. He couldn't have said it better. I think him as a nut job in this movie is great. He's this guy that wants to. It's taking over this camp that's usually fun and exciting, and he's like, no, we're really exercising, right? We're percusizing. So the Tony Perkins system, man. It's got some great lines in it too. I quote this movie all the time. When he pulls out when he's doing the welfare check, in their cabins, and he pulls out the thing. He's like, "Oh, look, a deli meat." Just little stuff like that. Or his assistant Lars is like, "I'm feeling skinny, Tony." Come on now. Like, you don't get lines like that in a Disney movie. It's just I think because it's Judd Apatow who has done a ton of memorable comedies over time. Uh, I mean, he's married to Lisa Mann, and his kids are both actresses.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, he's. I don't know. I think this movie is just not talked about enough. I get it. There's not.
It's not a movie you would think about when it comes.
You don't think it's a Disney movie, and I get that. And for me,
Mhm.
because I am not your average Disney cartoon fan, or I don't stick to the classics when it comes to Disney. I like what I like, and like I said, Heavyweights is a 10 out of 10 in my opinion because I love this movie. You got Kenan Thompson, you got Sean Wise,
Yeah.
Judd Apatow, obviously. I think he's actually in it.
Yeah,
Minor
he's in a very minor role in the
Very minor role. Obviously, Ben Stiller as Tony Perkis. Um, I know we got a couple other people. Tom McGowan, who is Pat Finley. Jerry Stiller, who plays. He's like the original camp owner, I
yeah.
guess, right? And
Yeah,
then they
that's
took
Ben
it over.
Stiller's father in real life. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. Tim Blake Nelson
Yeah.
also.
I forget he's in this movie, but yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about there. it's a good movie, but why is it that Ben Stiller always best roles are him being a dick? Like
I don't know,
you got
man.
this one, you have like we said, Dodgeball. You have Happy Gilmore is him being the dick to.
Oh, dude, you will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep.
Oh, look who just got yard duty today.
Yeah. Oh, your fingers hurt? Anyone else's fingers hurt? I don't think so. Uh, he's like in heavyweights. He's he's like lunch has been canceled due to lack of hustle. Deal with.
It's a good movie. I haven't watched it in quite some time, but
Do yourself a favor and watch it this weekend, B Dog.
yeah, I'll watch
It's
that.
a, it's a,
Watch some
it's
of
a fun movie to listen to. Like even if you're not watching it, just listen to it. It's funny.
I've
Leave
watched it.
heavyweights.
It's been a while.
Heavyweights is a perfect movie for to start my top 5. So I'm happy with that choice.
All right, so we'll turn to Ciara for her number 4.
My number 4 is Snow White.
Okay, so why are you always? It's like a pause. You're like, it's the
Why It's a doctor. It's a Doctor Evil look on her. She's like $1 billion.
Snow White. I like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Snow White is my favorite. It's my number 2.
$1 trillion.
No, I love Snow White. It's my favorite. Again, I had the VHS tape. I would play this on repeat. I loved the. I'm like, don't even get me started about the remake that was gonna happen.
Is that with what we've seen so far? It doesn't look terrible.
It doesn't. I just don't like what was around it. That's what made it so bad. And it was like,
I think people kind of got wave of everything surrounding it, right? And it automatically gave off that funk of like, wow, we don't want to watch this. Like nobody has any interest in seeing it, but who knows?
yeah.
It could be good. I probably won't watch it personally. I'm just like Brandon said, they've made very few good live action movies. I think
Yeah.
the book was probably the best one they've done.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. The only reason I go see that movie is who's playing the evil queen. That's Gal Gadot.
Oh, you're a Gal
I'll
Gadot.
see her any day in a movie. That is no problem.
Like Wonder Woman.
That is Wonder Woman right there. Heck yeah, it is. I will go see her play the evil queen. Sorry, I'm putting it out there. But I don't mind the woman they chose for Zell. I think her name is Zellweger.
I think, yeah.
But she doesn't look too bad for that role. I think she's good for that role. She has a good singing voice. Was she sang in West Side Story? Was in the remake.
Yeah.
West Side Story.
Not that. No gangster stuff. Go to my number 4. I don't care what people say. This is a Disney princess in my eyes. And this is a movie that had a live action adaptation. And it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
They should have just left it animated. I'm going with Mulan.
Ooh.
One of my favorite movies. I remember watching this as a kid. This actually was what I almost named my first dog, Mushu. So this movie. Mulan is just a fun tale, again, about a woman trying to find who she truly is. She doesn't want to be the stereotypical woman. She wants to stand up and be something different. And so she gets this chance when her dad is called up for the military. And there always has to be a man. And the problem is that this guy, or Mulan's dad, did not have a son. So he had to be the man that would step up. And Mulan, knowing the problems that he had, could not do this. So she steps up in his stead and transitions herself to be a man. And again, another movie that has some great bangers of songs. Reflection. One of my favorite songs of all time, still to this day. You get it from the movie, but you also have Christina Aguilera's version. And it is just really respectful. I'll make a man out of you. Donny Osmond singing that song. That is
business
to defeat
the comes.
I love it. You get true to who you are. You get, then that's at the end of the movie with Stevie Wonder and 98 Degrees. Yes, fans, if you guys don't know, I know who 98 Degrees is.
98 Degrees.
That is an old boy band when NSYNC and all them are going with Drew
Nick Lachey.
God,
Yeah, Nick Lachey, right? Yeah.
they
Mhm.
were very big, not compared to NSYNC or Backstreet.
That's because it didn't have Marky Mark.
That was different.
Turkey Mark. That's, they
And
had Dirk Diggler on their boy band.
yeah, but Mulan is just a great story. I love the history aspect of it all too. The live action was terrible. I
I
went.
haven't seen
watched
that one.
I went and watched it opening weekend because I was excited. I walked out of that theater and I think I dropped the F-bomb after I walked out of the theater because I was pissed. That movie was so bad, changed a lot of aspects in that movie. And it just went, what was this? Like I literally wanted to go to that. I want my money back. I am tired of this shit. I'm exhausted. They should have just kept it animated. Eddie Murphy as Mushu, amazing. Love it. But it's just a great story. And it really, like I said, it really tries to tell somebody to try to find their worth and try to find something that they can be. And for her to take her stead, it's somewhat treasonous because the man did not go. She went. And women were not allowed in that army. And it shows how much respect her leaders had for her. Like, I still love the whole scene when she's going up against the main Hun. You know, at the end of the movie, up on the roof, I'm like, yes, this is a badass Disney movie, and loved the movie. It's just a great story to tell. I love the ending scene with her dad and her talking about what happened and her telling him why she did this. And it's an amazing scene. It's a very heartfelt scene. And you see that emotion. And it's just a great tell. So, yeah, Mulan's my number 4. So we'll go to Pat for his
Good
number.
pick right there. I wasn't expecting Mulan to get picked, honestly. Like, it just didn't.
Mulan was going back and forth with that and Jungle Book. Then Mulan just made it on there because I could watch it more.
Oh, okay. My number 4, in my opinion, I think it's one of the more. I think it's one of the best animated movies in Disney's history of all time. Of all time.
High praise.
High praise.
High praise.
And it is none other than The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I knew that was going to. I knew it was going to make your list. If you were brought up,
like, that's not what I was expecting.
No,
that was my number 1.
Oh, is it?
Oh. Well, Pat's already listed my number 1 too, so Pat's really just ruined it for us.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
No, we're just messing it with you.
I'm sure my number 1's not in any of your lists.
No, probably not, buddy. Probably not. I know what number 1.
I mean, I'm the guy that put Heavyweights as number 5. What makes you think that that's going to work out?
So let's talk about Nightmare Before Christmas. Why Nightmare Before Christmas?
It's the animation for me. It's Tim Burton. I mean, I'm a huge Tim Burton fan. Beetlejuice is one of my favorite movies. I know we talked earlier with James and the Giant Peach. Obviously, this came before James and the Giant Peach. But you can see, comparing James and the Giant Peach to this or vice versa, it's like virtually you can just tell like it's the same person has,
Right.
done something. Sorry, I didn't know what to say there. But anyway, Jack Skellington, one of the biggest popular characters in Disney history. Same thing with Sally. Could you consider Sally a Disney princess?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
oh.
That's right. I'm on Ciara's side on this one.
No.
Sorry, B-Dog.
Well, this is one of those characters I don't see that because Jack really he's the king of it, but he really isn't. He's just like well, you gotta remember, Pumpkin King is just a title. It's not like he's like the governor of everything in Halloween Town. Nah.
The Colossus of Clout.
Okay.
He's the great Bambino.
No, I I don't look at her a Disney princess. I do. There's certain characters I do,
Hmm.
but it's kind of like Penelope, right, from Wreck-It Ralph. I don't look at
Yeah.
her as a princess. I don't. Even though they justified it in the second movie, I don't look at her as a princess. She doesn't want to be classified as a princess. I don't look at Sally as a princess.
Danny Elfman. I mean, can we? Yeah, this is his masterpiece.
This is Tim Burton's buddy. This is his right hand man. Anytime Tim Burton does a film, Danny Elfman's right there to help.
Anytime Tim Burton does a movie, he needs to get his right hand man back, right?
Right hand man back. Okay, we're doing Hamilton again. Let's get out.
I had to do it. No, but this is one of Danny Elfman's best soundtracks, I think. I mean, he is Jack Skellington.
Come on, man. We can't even put that. You can't put that higher than Spider Pig from Simpsons movie. Come on. You got that. That was his song. And then he did Batman. Come on. He did the most, like, I don't know if I could do that.
Oh wow, I didn't know Glenn Shaddix was the mayor. You know who Glenn Shaddix is?
I've heard of him.
He plays Otho in Beetlejuice.
Yes.
He's in also Dunstan checks in.
Yep.
I had no idea he was the mayor. That makes sense
It's
now.
the first time and the only time you're ever going to hear Dunstan's checked in.
Yeah, man, that's
I just can't believe you just brought that up in a podcast. But
I love that movie, man. I had the thing. I had it on VHS.
from Santa Claus in that movie.
Isn't Jason Alexander in that movie too?
I think so. It's been a long time
He's
since
the dad. Anyway, Paul Rubens also voicing in this.
He's a regular in Tim Burton.
Yeah. He's in Batman Returns.
He's in Pee Wee Herman. That is a Tim Burton film. A lot of people forget that.
I forgot that is.
You know who he plays in Batman Returns?
Yeah, he's the Penguin's dad.
The one that throws him in the damn river.
Isn't the lady also a famous lady too?
Yeah, I believe she was in Pee Wee Herman too.
Okay. But no, I just think this movie is it's iconic, right? It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's also one of my favorite Halloween movies. And that's the cool thing, is it classifies between them both. Is it Halloween? Is it Christmas? Is it both? It's both in my opinion.
It's both.
Welcome to Thanksgiving. No, I'm just messing.
I saw this movie one time on Halloween. I think it was like a day before Halloween, but I saw it in theaters. Like they had like a actual like a special showing of it, and I was like, this is so cool. Like getting to see an old movie like this in theaters. No, but the animation is iconic. I've always been a big fan of that style. It's like claymation almost, right?
Claymation. That's where I think the difference between that and Jane's the Giant Peach is. They're both claymation, but Jane's and the Giant Peach did more digital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more stop motion.
Yes.
Kind of like how Fantastic Mr. Fox is.
Yes. And I feel with Nightmare Before Christmas, even though there's a little bit of stop motion in it, it's more claymation.
Yeah. No, it is, and I love the claymation look, man. It looks so cool because it looks real, but it doesn't look real. If that makes sense.
You want me to tell you the best character in that movie? Though? Sally is one of my favorite characters, but I love Oogie, Oogie Boogie,
Boogie Boogie.
Love Oogie Boogie. That is like the most fun character to see in the whole movie. He's like when he's got that little jazzy beat when he's
Santa Claus. I'm really scared. Ooh, yeah.
Love them. Right. All right. Let's turn to Ciara to start off our top 3. We are almost done, fans.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 3 is.
Let's talk about your number.
The Lion King.
The Lion King.
It had to be on someone's list, right?
I love The Lion King.
What's your favorite part? Mufasa dying and having
all of it. No.
All of it's your favorite part.
Would you put Scar as one of your favorite villains?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Elton John has quite the banger for this movie.
Yeah. Give props to Elton John and Phil.
It's Sir Elton John.
Yeah, Sir Elton John.
Oh, Sir Elton John.
Sir Elton John and Phil Collins for being the bangers at Disney. They are.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so let's talk about who's your favorite character in this movie. Let me ask you this. I know. If you want to do a duo, you can do a duo.
Okay.
I just kind of.
It's Timon and Pumbaa.
It is. I love the is he talking to me? Oh no, is he talking to me? Oh, you should have done it. Yeah, call me Mr. Pig. I love this name. I cannot stand the remake. And
No.
here's the reason why. Seth Rogen is Pumbaa.
Yeah.
I cannot get past his. I'm like,
Yeah.
I love Seth Rogen, but that
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying.
you know, you
There
know,
you go. There it is. Trying to get it
a little bit
close.
of Yoda, but a little bit of a little deeper. You know, I can't stand
Kind of
it.
sounds like John C. Riley laughing. Like,
Yeah. But okay, so let's ask the big question because this is a movie with banger songs. What's your favorite song?
the circle of life.
Circle of Life.
Hmm.
Not even Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
No, I don't like that song. I'm sorry, but no.
Well, when you go to Elton John or Sir Elton John concerts, that is the song I feel like he sings the most.
He does, but
That he wrote for us.
I
That
think it's because I just heard it so many times where it's like, okay,
not
I
even a
get it.
Matata? Come on.
I do love Hakuna Matata.
what a wonderful thing.
Okay.
Yep. Means no worries.
Side note, that was in Disney or in Toy Story. When they're in the car ride, when Buzz and Woody are chasing after the car, when the little girl's looking, it's like they're playing Hakuna Matata.
Hmm.
Matata. And the little girl, you know,
Hmm.
here comes the rocket, you know. But yeah, it could not make my list though. But if I had to choose a Disney villain list, Scar would be my number one. He'd be up. But okay, so let's ask you this really quickly before we go to our number threes too. What are scenes or what made you love this film?
I I love the colors of it, of the animation. And it's just one of those things where it's like in the song Circle of Life, where things die, go back to nature, but you're continuing for the next generation and the next generation. And you just have to keep it going. And that's like, I love The Lion King too. I like there's one song where he lives in me, he lives in you. That is my favorite song. And it's like, no matter what, your family is always around you, no matter if they've gone, no matter how far they are, they're always there with you.
You know, I want to talk about one thing more about the music because it wasn't just Elton John that did this movie. You know who did the score, Patrick? Let me see if you know that.
Mr. Hans Zimmer.
It is Hans Zimmer. Hans
Yeah.
Zimmer, if anybody does not know what this guy has done for movies, he has done Gladiator, he has done the Dark Knight trilogy. He does a lot of banger soundtracks. He does
Interstellar.
Interstellar, Inception. He does a lot of. He works with Christopher Nolan quite a bit. He got his first Oscar for that film for Lion King. That was his first score film where and record or
His first score. Yeah, yeah. I got you.
because he did get an Oscar for that. I love the song that they write when he's walking up on Pride Rock,
Hmm.
Rain, and hearing that song, like it's on my personal soundtrack. I'm like, you know, we love you so much. You know, it's just fun to watch a movie like that and enjoy it. But from one banger, I'm gonna go to another banger. And that's my other Phil Collins song movie. This is Tarzan. Tarzan's number three. This is a movie that I hold dear and near to my heart. It's sad that it did not make it up into my number one or number two. It has one of my favorite songs of all time, You'll Be in My Heart. And I'm going to cry again. Holy crap. I tried so hard not to do this. That song helped me through recovery. It helped me through a lot of things. Like I said, I almost passed away a couple years ago. This song, I remember my mom sending it to me because that's our song. And I started crying even when I was incubated, everything was already tearing up. And it has a great story of a father or a son and a mother, you know, and having to branch out in that world. That's my mom and I. Like that is how we always have been. And I think it's always a movie that we reference back to a lot. Yeah, Wayne Knight is or the elephant. Gosh darn, I can't remember his name. You have Rosie O'Donnell as Turk. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a great story, great bangers. Stranger Like Me, You'll Be in My Heart.
Yeah.
The campsite song with NSYNC and Phil Collins, Son of Man. You have a lot of big bangers on this. And it's just a great story. It really is. It gets you that emotional feel you need sometimes. The whole thing too of him trying to be accepted by his pretty much like his adopted father.
Mm-hmm.
And when he finally dies, he finally respects him as a man and that he's proud of him. And you get that sense, and it's such a gut wrench. So it's like, oh, of course you do this when you're dying, you punk. But
Kind of a dark movie too, isn't it? It's just some
it does get
aspects
dark.
of it that get kind of dark, right?
It does. It gets dark near the end of the movie.
For sure.
When he gets back and he sees the villain, I can't even remember his name either.
I know you're talking about though the
I'm gonna go
hunter
look real
guy.
quick. But yeah, the hunter. I was gonna say Craven, but I was like, no, that's Spider-Man.
Got his giant knife,
Yeah, joint knife. This is not a knife.
his
That's
joint knife, his sword.
I'm looking it up right now. I just pulled it
Got Valerian steel.
up. Clayton. Clayton was the hunter. Glenn Close is Kala.
Mm.
Tony or Goldwyn is Tarzan. Wayne Knight, Tantor, Rosie O'Donnell, Turk.
Say Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that is Turk. This movie is just banger film, and it has that message of even Lily Collins, Bill Collins' daughter, is in this movie as one of the baby apes. A lot of people forget that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, and if you don't know who Lily Collins is, she is in Abduction. She is in that's a
Mirror to mirror.
Mirror Mirror. She's in the Tolkien origin story. So we get
Mm-hmm.
where the Rings came from and stuff. Um, it's a great movie. Tarzan is something I hold dear and near in my heart. These top three movies I hold dear and near to my heart. So Tarzan to me, it's my number three for good reason, and it's gonna stay there. So that's my number three. So we'll turn to Pat for his number three.
My number three, I think it was big when it came out. I know when it came out, I was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and this was like peak childhood for me. Uh, my number three is Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, the very first Pirates of the Caribbean.
I got a job to it. I got a job to it.
No,
Sorry, I had to.
no, you're fine. That's number two. But
I know, but every time I
I
think of Pirates of the Caribbean,
guess what's inside it.
But I have to ask Pat, why number one over number two? Because you have talked about number two also you liking.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think this one was like sowing the seeds for what was going to happen. Like it was kind of getting everything started. You kind of got a feel for all the characters after this movie, especially Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann. You can start to see their
Their confusing love triangle that
exactly. Commodore Norrington's character, I love him. Like he's great in this movie. I like I said, I think it was just kind of sowing the seeds for everything of what was to come. Now, fast forward, I will say, like, I am not a fan of anything after three. Uh, like it's just like a money. It feels like a money grab. Like they're just trying to make something out of the franchise. Like I love Javier Bardem. Him as Anton Chigurh is probably one of the greatest roles in cinematic history. But I don't think he had to be a Spanish sailor in Pirates of the Caribbean. So, but yeah, no, I love the sword fighting scene in the that's like an iconic scene for me in this where they're in the blacksmith shop and they're fighting and Jack is getting away. That whole sequence of him saving Elizabeth after she falls off the cliff because she passes out. Jeffrey Rush as Man, why?
Or Captain Barbosa.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know why I was drawing a blank on his name for a second.
Favorite villains of all Disney movies. Captain
What's
Barbosa.
that?
One of my favorite villains of all Disney movies.
Oh, dude, 100%. And he's kind of also a good guy. I mean, you find that later on in the movie.
He becomes good later on.
Yeah, better, I should say. But I also love the concept of how they were already dead, and then they kind of can do whatever. Like I remember that scene where it's showing him and his whole crew walking undersea. Like, dude, that's so badass. And they're about to take over a ship. Like, this movie for me is very realistic. Like Disney does a lot of movies where it's very kid-like or it's very hokey. This didn't have any of that. This was more of like a legit, like this was in that era. They had an era like in the early 2000s. I feel like they just had some really good, like realistic live action movies.
Yeah.
But they were also like family friendly. Like obviously, like these movies are family friendly, but it has like a little bit of violence in it, and it's got like a little bit of reality to it as well. This is one of my favorite rides at the theme parks. I don't know if you guys are well rounded with the theme parks, but this is just one of my favorite rides in general.
Well, they've revamped it since. So the movies actually have put like Jack Sparrow in the ride.
Yeah, Johnny Depp is his character. I just went to Disney World a few months ago, and there, if I had to compare Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean and Disney World's Pirates of the Caribbean, I would pick Disneyland's.
Yeah,
over.
I think Disneyland, I've seen videos of it. Disneyland's a little bit bigger, but not only that, it's a little bit more spacious. Like it's more
You know what it is for me? It's the smell of that water when you walk in.
and
they
you
don't
get
got
to
that in
restaurant
Disney
that's
World, dude.
too. You get to see the restaurant. People are like, "Hi."
That's the thing too is so in Disney World it doesn't have the bayou part like it does like so you know how in Disneyland it's like that flat calm like water it's like very bayou like it's none of that in Disney it just kind of goes straight into the ride almost in Disney World.
So I'm gonna go back to the movie quick because
Yeah.
I do have a Pirates List movie on my honorables, but it's not number one. It is number two, and I enjoy Dead Man's Chest because I love Davy Jones. I think Davy Jones is by far the best villain of that whole series. Davy Jones, that creepy octopus face, and all of a sudden, I love him, and I love his character. I love the concept of his ship that nobody leaves his ship.
I like the concept of how he can't go on land or he can go on land like once every like 10 years or 12 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So no, but I think they casted this movie perfectly too. I think Orlando Bloom, like coming off of the coattails of Lord of the Rings and whatnot, going into this movie, it's huge.
He had bangers on his list. He had that. He had Black Hawk Down.
Dude, Orlando Bloom had a hell of a 2003. I mean, that dude did Return of the King and Pirates of the Caribbean in the same year. That's insane. That guy was making that moolah.
In 2001, he did Black Hawk Down and he did Fellowship. But he didn't have a big role in Black Hawk Down, but it was a point that he had a role in it.
One more too is Jonathan Pryce, old time English actor. I don't know if you've probably seen Brazil from 1985.
Swan's dad in that movie. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've seen him in other movies. He's in G.I. Joe.
Jack Flash.
Yeah. He's in a lot of other big name movies that I've seen him in. So,
it's always a classic. It's rewatchability 100 for me. Like I can watch this movie anytime. I'll every once in a while, usually once a year, kind of like how I do with like the Harry Potter movies and whatnot. I usually do a Pirates of the Caribbean binge for the weekend. Just kind of watch all of them. But that's my number 3. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Let's turn to Ciara for number 2.
Number 2 would have to be Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. I knew that was gonna make your list somehow. Like I know you're. Tell us a little bit about what you love and what are some of your favorite things in this movie?
The whole movie. I sometimes wish I could be Alice and just disappear.
You're late. You're late for a very important date.
You're
late, buddy. Would
Still
you
yeah.
would you rather go to Queen of Hearts, or would you rather be at a Mad
The
Hatter
Mad Hatter, the Tea Party.
tea party?
Yeah.
You know, I love them. I love that movie, but okay. All right. I'll go to my number 2 quick. I'll kind of keep it simple. It's one of my favorite movies that involves animals, and I know that's a lot of say when it comes to a Disney movie. I'm going Robin Hood.
Ooh,
I love Robin Hood.
very nice.
Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest. Love it. Love this movie. Love the story. Prince John is amazing in this film. Mommy, you know, a little sucking on the thumb a little bit. It's just a fun tale, and it's a fun retelling of a classic story. You know, Robin Hood being the Prince of Thieves pretty much at this point, going around stealing money from the king, but to give it to the poor. It is a great story. I love Little John. It's one of my favorite characters. I see myself in Little John more than Robin Hood. The big
Wait, Little John. Oh, okay.
the big fat bear, that's me. Like, I know that's me. I got the belly for it.
But why? But when you said Little John, I was thinking of the rapper Little John. I'm like, yeah,
No.
okay.
Okay. But this is one of those movies like you talked about, like where we talked about how scenes were adapted into other movies. This is Snow White. Snow White scenes were adapted into Robin Hood. You know, where it's great stories. I love the whole archery scene that you get to see, like, oh, they got a bullseye. Oh, somebody split another one. Oh, no. And then they have the little fight back and forth with the elephants. I love when Little John actually dresses up like a woman to money, and he's got the jewels when he kisses the king's hands. You know, and sitting there with all the jewels on his teeth. And then how he flirts with the rhino soldier. You know, the little rhino. I love it. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the Sheriff of Nottingham. If you guys ever watched 101 Dalmatians, this is a dog, or not 101, Aristocats. He is the dog. I'm a leader. I will tell you when to go. Let's go. That's Sheriff Nottingham. That is the same guy. I love the Friar. I love the Rooster. There's a lot of characters I love in this film. It's one I can rewatch every year and enjoy the movie more and more. So yeah, Robin Hood is my number 2. So Pat, let's go to your number 2.
Mine is Robin Hood Men in Tights as my number. I'm joking.
No, whatever.
I do love that movie.
No Disney movie. No.
Oh, he's breaking the rules. Get him out of here. My number 2 is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
You did put Dead Man's Chest.
It's I think it's better than Black Pearl. I think it's one of the better sequels out of, if you had a list of like, oh, what are your best sequels of all time? I mean, I'd be willing to wager to put Dead Man's Chest in that list.
I put that as like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not
Empire Strikes Back.
It's not Judgment Day.
Yeah.
No, Davy Jones,
Best villain.
I think he's a great villain. Like you were just saying, one of my favorite Disney villains of all time. He just has no remorse, really. That's what I love about his character. He's got no remorse. I think you learn a lot more in this movie about how Elizabeth Swann can be, which I love the way the movie ends. I think that's why I love it so much, is her betraying Jack Sparrow's character, or Johnny Depp, I should say. And the Kraken eats him right at the end. The ship.
You should have saved your jar of dirt joke for here.
What's that?
You should have saved her jar of dirt scene, because that's where that scene comes.
Well, yeah, that's what this is from, and that's what I was going to get to too. Is one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the three-way battle between Jack. I keep wanting to say Jack Skellington, Jack Sparrow, William Turner, and Commodore Norrington. And Norrington is more. He's not the Norrington of old. He's more of a hobo version of Commodore Norrington. But they're all fighting for Davy Jones's heart, right? They're all on the island, and
Mhm.
they're also fighting with the Flying Dutchman as well, because the Dutchmen are able to get on land. So just that whole sequence, that whole scene is one of my favorites. The scene where they go on, where they find Jack at the tribal island. I forget what exactly, but that's funny too.
That's where you get the epic run. Like, "Ah!"
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Dun.
The gif of all gifs. Um, no, but Dead Man's Chest is one of my favorites. Also, you get the other bad guy in it too. Man, I
Well, you have Captain Barbosa
well,
return,
got
but
Barbosa. That's at the end though. He's
yeah.
not really in the movie so much. I'm talking about
Oh, you're
the
talking
East
about the
India
other British,
Trading Company guy.
the other British soldier.
Yes,
Yes, I don't remember his name, but I know
I
exactly.
don't either, and I'm gonna hate myself when I hear it because I'm like, yeah, why didn't I think of that?
I'm looking it up right
He's a
now.
great actor, by
Beckett,
the way. He's doing a lot of stuff. What's
Beckett,
that?
Beckett.
Yep. Okay, there you go. Yep. It's
Yeah,
all coming back to
but
me.
you also get Bootstrap Bill too. Bootstrap
Bootstrap Bill,
is,
Stellan Skarsgård.
and
Yep.
that is Will Turner's father.
Yep.
Yeah, so
No, man, this movie is perfect. I think in every way. Like, there's really no bad parts about this movie, in my opinion. Uh, and like I said, it's just the realistic aspect of it. I think those first three movies, you know, are just chef's kiss.
like
After
out of the
that,
three, I
not so
think the
much.
third one is the weaker one out of the.
Oh, 100%. It's not the best one, but I do like the third one. Like
I
I
like
don't
the
hate
battle
it.
scene at the very end of the movie. I think it's one of
Yeah.
the battle scenes of any. But let me tell you this really quickly too. There is a character I love in that movie that people forget about. It's Naomi Harris's role, and that is Tia Dalma. This is who
Yeah.
brings Captain Barbosa back. This is I love her character, especially in the third one where she becomes Calypso. That is amazing how they do her. But let me ask you this, Pat. See if you know this before we turn to our number ones or our honorable mentions and number ones. Do you know what big name actress was in the first movie that only had a very small role? Give you a hint. She is in two of the most gross films, like the top gross films ever in box office history.
I'm not looking at anything either, just to make it fair. I have no idea. She's in. Wait, hold on. She's in
Okay.
this one.
Yeah, she's in the first one. She's not in the second one. She didn't return for the second. I guess she was offered and she said no.
I know it and I don't know it.
Shall we tell you?
Is it? Hold on. Is she one of Elizabeth Swan's like maids?
No,
No. Okay, never mind then.
Zoe Saldana.
I would.
So Zoe Saldana is one of the woman that she wants Jack to repay her a ship. If you don't know who Zoe Saldana is, this is Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. She is an Avatar as the main woman. She's in a lot of movies, and she is in two of the most interesting films of all time.
Yeah.
Avengers Infinity or Endgame and Avatar.
Well, yeah, Dead Man's Chest. That's my number two. My number two.
Number two. All right, so we go to our number ones. We're gonna rifle off honorable mentions. We're not gonna go into details. So, Ciara, go ahead and rifle off your honorables if you have any. If you don't
Yeah,
have,
go ahead.
okay.
You go to
I'm
yours.
gonna rifle up mine. Angels in the Outfield, Princess and the Frog, The Fox and the Hound, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Yes, I'm old school.
That's
That's
one
Angela
of
Lansbury, buddy.
that's one of Mrs. Patty B's favorite movies right there.
Love that movie.
Yep.
Oh, Coy. Yeah, I love it. Big Hero 6, also
Ooh,
on my
that's
list.
a good one.
And The Rescuers made my list on an honorable. Patty, what is your honorables? Rifle them off.
Santa Claus 2, Angels in the Outfield, uh, The Kid with Bruce Willis. A lot of people don't think about that one. That's a good one. Kind of serious.
I forget that's a Disney movie.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
The second National Treasure is good. I think I'm probably gonna miss a lot. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I forgot to write some down, but um, yeah, I said Santa Claus 2. Santa Claus 3 is good as well. That's not a bad movie. Oh, The Parent Trap. That was my number 10 originally, and I took that out of there.
Are you talking Lindsay Lohan or Haley
Yes,
Mills?
yes. Dennis Quaid and
Oh,
Natasha Richardson.
okay.
That's the one.
Well, I asked because Haley Mills was original, and that was also a Disney movie.
No, I get it. Yeah, no, this is the one. That's the one I grew up on. Was the '90s Parent Trap.
All
But
right.
yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
So Pat is already named our number ones. So Sierra, you want to reveal
The
yours?
Nightmare Before Christmas is
So,
my number one.
so what would you say you love about this film?
All of it. For some reason, that is one of those movies where I can watch that on repeat. Like, I'm obsessed with that movie. There's just something about it that just sucks me into it. I just I fall asleep to it. I can wake up to it. It's there's just something about it. I can't explain it. I really can't. It's just something about it where it just
I can see you being the person that wakes up. This is Halloween, and then your daughter says,
yeah.
"Not Halloween, Mom. It's Valentine."
Yeah.
And you're like, "No, this is Halloween. This is Halloween." No,
I watch that all year round. It doesn't have to be Halloween, it doesn't have to be Christmas. I put this on no matter what
It could
time
be
it
4th of July because it's America.
look.
Exactly.
So,
Fireworks.
so I will go ahead and go into my number one, which Pat's also stated is Hercules.
Yeah.
I love this movie, and I have one actor's name the same, James Wood. By far one of my favorite actors in this film. He is Hades to the T. This guy can be funny, but serious. And that's what I love about James Wood. I can't believe you didn't even mention the best song of this film, Go the Distance.
Oh
My
yeah.
one of my favorite songs of this whole movie is when Hercules is reflecting on who he truly is and that he does not fit in. And you get that iconic song, and then that's when they reveal that he is the son of a god. And to see that and trying to find who he is and what he wants to be. He wants to be a hero. And in Greek mythology, and it is a big thing to be named a hero. It's like a title. You got Achilles, Troy. Oh, you got all these people, right?
Mhm.
But the problem is, though, or not the problem. The best thing in this movie is when he has the chance to actually regain that title as a hero. He turns it down to be with Meg. By far still one of my favorite scenes because he says, "My heart doesn't belong here. Even though this is something I've always wanted, this is not where I truly need to be. I need to be here. And I need to be with the people I love." And he still is a hero. He still has his strength, still has everything, but he's not a god. He doesn't need to be a god. He doesn't need to be a god to be successful. He doesn't need to be a god to have what he wants. He can have that just being a normal human. That's what I love about this film. You have what you have and you appreciate what you have in life. You don't need to have that title to be somebody. You are somebody by your actions. You are somebody because of this. And that's what I love about Hercules. The music's great, like Pat says. Go the Distance is my favorite song. Zero to Hero is another great song. There's just a lot. And I enjoy it. No Chance, No Way. I Won't Say I'm in Love. Come on. Bangers. Like bangers. I'll put that up there.
Hangers.
So Hercules is my number one. So Pat, can I guess what your number one is since you've already said the sequel?
You already know what my number.
You want me? Give you? Can I give Sierra a hint to see if she can guess it?
Yeah, you can.
Nicolas Cage is the main actor.
National Treasure?
Thank you.
It is National Treasure. um,
Ding ding
National
ding. You know.
Nicolas Cage is one of my favorite actors of all time. He's in a lot of good movies. He's also in a lot of bad movies.
Ghost Rider.
This one is a banger. This one's a masterpiece, in my opinion. Rewatchability, comfort movie for me as well. I know, Brandon, you are a history buff. Obviously, this movie is not historically accurate. It's kind of like a
It's not,
fictional.
but it's still a great story to kind of follow.
Absolutely. And I think that's what captivated me as a kid because I was like really into history as a kid. and I love that kind of stuff. And this movie really I gravitated towards. Nicolas Cage, Diane Kruger, Justin Bartha, Sean Bean, John Voight, Harvey Keitel, Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
It's a banger of a cast. Harvey Keitel, I think, is like, what? Harvey Keitel? Man, they just hit it out of the park. This movie only has, I think it's criminal how it has 46% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Because of the whole historically accurate scene.
Probably, but no, I just think this movie is like perfectly done. It was during that era, like I said, with Disney movies where it just had that realistic feel. Like it wasn't hokey. Like they were just like good movies. And this is one of the first movies I saw. I'm sure Sean Bean was doing stuff before this, but this is one of the first movies I saw Sean Bean in.
Yeah, Sean Bean at this point was in Lord of the Rings. He was
yes,
in
that's right. He was in Lord of the Rings.
Boromir. He was in a 007 movie at that point. He was one of the villains.
Really? What, in the Daniel Craig ones?
No, Pierce Brosnan.
What? He was in a Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah, this is before he did Lord of the Rings. It was when he was younger.
Oh,
But then after that, that's when he got Game of Thrones.
yeah, he's Ned Stark. And he's only in it for 8 episodes, but still, I mean, he's a pretty prominent character in the story.
Not just for boy.
John Voight.
I am not a John.
I like John Voight in this.
I hate Sean Voight. I cannot stand his acting.
You don't like John Voight in Holes?
I don't like Sean Voight in any movie. I don't like him in Holes. I don't like him in Varsity Blues. I think he's an ass in that movie. I don't like.
I like him in Anaconda.
Yeah. Well, I don't like his daughter.
Anaconda, yes.
Yes. I'm not an Angelina Jolie fan either.
So, I like Ice Cube in Anaconda. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like him. I don't even like him in Zoolander. I think he plays an ass in that movie too. He's in Zoolander. He's the dad.
Yeah, that's right. That's
right. Yeah, baby.
Baby. Yeah, that's Jerry Stiller. No, but Diane Kruger. I love Diane Kruger in these movies. I think what's crazy is like the range. Like I noticed, like looking through this cast, I watched Inglourious Bastards the other night, and like, of course I did, right?
Of course you did. It's a Quentin Tarantino film. You can't go.
But Diane Kruger in that movie is great. She's not in it very long, but like the fact that she was in this movie and then is like in a star-studded Hollywood movie like Inglourious Bastards, like it's crazy. But anyway, yeah, no, like I said, my number one's National Treasure. It's rewatchability, comfort movie to the max. I can never get tired of watching this movie. It's a go-to of mine. And I think that's why it's my favorite Disney movie of all time.
So yeah, I think this is a great way to end the podcast. We want to thank our guest Ciara for coming back on the podcast for having quite some time.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, we want to tell fans follow us out on our social medias on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Also check us out on platforms such as YouTube, Spotify for podcasts or Spotify. I'm going to turn it back over to Patty B to finish off this podcast.
Hey guys, thank you for everything. This was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with you guys. Thank you again. And like Brandon said, follow us on everything. And just remember, we do it just for Flix.